My forthcoming book has two sides. It's two books in one. It's one side for how to be an ally, but it's another side for how to be that partner and how to step into allyship, alongside the ally and take advantage of opportunities and be self-aware enough to know what you need and want from an ally, and then execute on it. You're an important player in this work, and I think that's an important aspect of success in allyship.
Welcome to OTR, Over the Rainbow, Achieving Mental Health for Real. This podcast offers hope to many people who needlessly suffer from mental health issues. Your host, Bob Adelman, brings you information on how you can recover from any mental health issue and achieve a happier life. If you want to know more, please check out his trailer. Bob's notes on today's show follows.
Join me as I talk to Dr. Victoria Mattingly about allies in the workplace, which is the active practice of using one's privilege and influence to support, advocate for, and create a more equitable and inclusive environment for colleagues from marginalized or underrepresented groups. An example in mental health would be a neurotypical assisting a neurodivergent. Dr. Victoria Mattingly is CEO and founder of the workplace inclusion consulting firm Mattingly Solutions. She is a keynote speaker, a published author, a mental health warrior, and passionate about improving human experience at work. She also speaks to organizations and professional associations about how to better support mental health in the workplace.
Now, here's Bob with today's show.
Hello and welcome to OTR, Victoria. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your brand?
Yeah, so I have my PhD in organizational psychology. My brand is a lot of people call me Dr. V, and I really want to make the science of the workplace something that's translatable and actionable. I'm in the business of improving the human experience at work, and working in service industry for over a decade really sparked my interest in organizational psychology and how can we give people the tools to manage stress, stressful environments and tough conversations and relationships. And then, from there, I've since worked with a wide variety of industries. I've run my own company for the last 6 years. I'm a published author and I'm a keynote speaker.
Thank you for that. This is a mental health show, so I normally start off with your experiences as a child. Could you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I had a lot in life that both of my parents had bipolar disorder. So that brought on just a lot of challenges. Home life was not great. I actually moved out before I graduated high school. I was working as a server in a restaurant, and I made enough money I could pay my rent and pay bills. So I was 18 and I left, and that was a really good move for me. And since then, I took care of my father at the end of his life, and I'm currently taking care of my mother, who's having some aging issues right now. So it's been a very full circle experience between my childhood and the moment I'm living right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. A lot of people on the show have, a little bit of problems in their background. But you feel that you're mentally pretty healthy, or you're working on it?
I feel pretty healthy right now.
Okay.
That was not the case the end of 23 going into 24. I was very ill. I made a lot of bad decisions and almost, ruined my marriage. It impacted my business. It was a major mental health crisis. And since then, I worked through it. And
could you tell us what you did to recover?
Absolutely. So I have an amazing psychiatrist who's also my therapist. So I get to see my psychiatrist once a week, which is kind of unheard of.
Yeah, nowadays.
Usually you see them once every 6 to 8 weeks or something
It
like
used to
that.
be it used to be like that back in my day.
Yeah, because I was very surprised I was able to get that set up for myself. And I got on the right concoction of medication. Like I need, certain medication, and that's just because my brain chemistry is different, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Learning to accept it. I actually call them brain vitamins.
I do too. I have that. That's funny you
Yeah,
said
I
that.
love that. It's a nice
Yeah.
reframe. And I remember growing up, my mom like hid the meds or never talked about them or whatever,
Right.
and for me, I don't want to be like that for my son. I don't want to have that stigma. And so I was like, call them my brain vitamins. And one day he was like, when I grow up, I'll have brain vitamins too. And I'm like, you might, but you might not. And that's okay too. Some people don't need them, and that's fine as well, but it's like we've reframed it to the point that he thinks he should have them too.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny you said that because I always think of it that way. Because I'm on a cocktail of stuff. I had some really bad problems with uh, just you name it, anxiety, ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
dyslexia, OCD, all of that. People have heard that enough, I think. But it's the reason I started this show to make people more aware that it's normal and there's nothing to be ashamed of, and that they should try to help themselves. Start off going to a counselor and work, do all the recovery things, maybe a group, and then consider medicine, especially if you never did before, because it's something that saved me, and I think a lot of people could say the same thing.
Yeah.
So we got two people here that could say that. So, just don't automatically go onto the medication, but if things aren't working right with your other recovery methods, then definitely consider that if you can. Okay, so could you tell us how you got into what you're doing now, and you're a doctorate in what now?
Organizational psychology.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, if you could just go in to a little bit about how you got this position and what it's all about.
Yeah, so I started by majoring in psychology as an undergrad, and I thought I was going to be like a therapist or a counselor of sorts. And then I realized I think I'd have a really hard time leaving that stuff in the office, like that's like counselors and therapists deal with heavy stuff, and so like I just didn't think I had that in me. And I was bartending after undergrad, and two organizational psychologists walk into my bar like the beginning of a bad joke, and they tell me what they're in town doing, and they're essentially like trying to make the lives of the employees better to keep them around. Like, so this like company's investing in organizational psychologists to like improve the lives of their employees. I'm like, I want to be involved in this field. Like, this is amazing. We spend so many waking hours at work. Why not try to make it better from like a human-centered approach? So then I got my degree in it and got my PhD. I was focused a lot on learning and development initially, particularly how do we train people to be more emotionally intelligent, and like deal with that side of the job, right? And give people tools for that. And then I got into the workplace inclusion and allyship space through my dissertation work. I built a male executive training program to help these male leaders be better allies to women in the workplace. Since then, I've broadened out from just gender, because allyship truly is applicable across any, marginalized or underrepresented group, and that difference and working across that difference.
Now, ally is sort of like a mentor then. Is that correct? A specific type of mentor?
So specifically, an ally is someone that uses their power or status to support and advocate for someone different than them,
Okay,
right? So a
that's a
male
great
ally for women, straight ally for the LGBTQ population, neurotypical ally for neurodiverse, partners that they could work with. So that's an important distinction. So mentoring could absolutely be a part of that, but I think it's more of like, how can I leverage the power I have by being in the majority group to make this person who's not in this group make their life a little better,
That's terrific.
And what's really important to that is working with that person and understanding what they need. Because where allies get it wrong is they think, I'm going to come in and save the day and do X, Y, Z. But the people they're trying to help, they need something completely different, because they never stopped and had a conversation. And they're like, how can I best support you, So that's really a key premise I'm trying to bring home. Like it's a partnership that's so important to allyship.
Yeah, that sounds really good. I mean, we talk about it on this show. Could you give us maybe a little example of a person that got allied? Or I guess you call it, I don't know if that's the right term, but a person that works with an ally, and kind of more specifically what they would do for them, and what kind of company, what were they working at, and stuff like that.
Well, unfortunately, most companies I work with, they need more inclusion and allyship, right? So I have a story of a missed opportunity of allyship that I think will still answer your question. So a friend of mine, she was working for a bank here in Pittsburgh, and she is neurodivergent. She takes ADHD medication. And she was like, listen, I just need to have the same schedule, like every day, work at the same time, in and out at the same time, because I need to take my medication at the same time every day. I need to time it right. And it's going to be really disruptive if I have to take it at different times of the day. And they wouldn't accommodate that. They wouldn't accommodate, and that is such an easy accommodation.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it's better to have a set schedule, because you always know when they're going to be there. So the fact they wouldn't do that, and an ally could have intervened. In this case, maybe a male ally, maybe an executive ally, someone who just has that like leadership power, like hierarchical power in the organization, and that person could have stepped in. Because I think she was a teller. She was, had a more like frontline, like lower level job, right?
And bank teller?
Yeah, I think she was a bank teller. And, or I don't know her exact role, but the point is she didn't have much power to leverage. And so allies that came in and leveraged their own power and were like, hold up, like, this is a basic accommodation. It should be made. Like, she's a good employee. We don't want to lose her. Kind of putting your neck out there a little bit, to stand up for someone, but it's still not that hard. I think that's like a big theme I want to get across too, is it's small things allies can do to have a really big impact. Like if someone would have stepped up and fought for her accommodation, like that wouldn't have taken that much effort or political collateral, but she could have kept her job, and that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. So the LA came in and helped in that matter.
Exactly. It would have stepped in and helped and fought back with that person, not for that person, but with that person.
Okay. Sort of like an advocate, but a little bit more. Right?
Yeah, advocate.
Okay.
Just willing to push back or challenge the status quo. Challenge unfair practices, like in this case, without not providing that accommodation. And the key is, the beauty of it, I think, is that this person doesn't benefit from that. Like, you genuinely are just trying to help someone else. And it's gonna make a better workplace, right? If we have consistent rules and consistent policies, it's better for everyone.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're helping someone. And I think innately
it's volunteer
humans want to
work.
help people.
Yeah, that's terrific stuff. So did this woman, did it turn out okay?
She left the job, and I think there was like a settlement or something she signed. So it wasn't like a she didn't file a
That's too
claim or
bad.
anything.
Yeah, but can you name a success story that where it really helped out? Or
Okay.
I don't want to put you on the
Yes.
spot or anything.
Yeah, success
Sorry.
story. I mean, I can share my own example.
Okay. All right.
I was working in a consulting firm. I was an intern, right? So, um, like did not have any sort of power.
Right.
And I walked up to like someone who was like a skilled and very experienced like facilitator, presenter, and with the executive team, like everyone loved him. He was like a big deal at the organization. And I went up to him and I was like, do you consider yourself an ally to women in the workplace? And he looked at me, he thought for a second, and he's like, no, I don't. He didn't say that because he's a jerk or he's sexist or anything like that. He said it because he was being honest. Like he's never
Right.
gone out of his way to help, a woman in the workplace before. And so
Right.
he started working with me, and we met often. We like co-created like a training, like some content together. He talked about me and mentioned my name in rooms that I wasn't in. Like he brought me up, and then he told me once, and he was like, the only reason I put this much time into you is because you actually go do something with it. Like I feel like I'm having
Right.
an impact. Like if he just poured into me as just a mentor or just someone giving me advice or guidance, but I never did anything with it, that's demotivating, right? And so
Right.
that's why my forthcoming book has two sides. It's two books in one. It's one side for how to be an ally, but it's another side for how to be that partner and how to step into allyship, alongside the ally and take advantage of opportunities and be self-aware enough to know what you need and want from an ally, and then like execute on it. Like you're an important player in this work, and I think that's an important aspect of success in allyship.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think right now that we're beginning to make it more fair, because when I worked, there was no accommodation. They don't even talk about it. But now I'm hearing from different people how things like, what you do and what other people do really do make a difference. Do you get involved with any of like the mechanical stuff, like their cubicle is not big enough or their chair doesn't work or anything like that? Or it's mostly if it's a problem between management and things like that?
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's what an individual from a marginalized or underrepresented group needs, right? So if someone works better with noise canceling headphones or a certain cubicle setup or a certain new monitor setup, and they can make a good argument for this is going to help me do my job better, because I have a, I hate to say disability, but I have a need for a certain accommodation, right? Like because of my neurodivergence, because of my physical ability or whatever it is. So I think it just really just varies from individual to individual. Get the help from allies and management and HR to get what we need.
I like to hear those types of things because we're all trying to make it better for people that are, in a minority group like neurodivergent, specifically from, the mental health aspect. Now, do you ever feel that once they go through this type of thing that they're not blackballed, but that management looks upon them a little different? Because I know that happened to me. I at one place said I had ADHD, and they right after that they really made sure they I wasn't working there anymore, basically. So that's a horrible example, but it's like 10 years ago, and I hope it's improved. Do you feel that once the person gets what they want, that they're looked at as a bad attitude or anything like that?
Like a liability or something.
Yes, right.
I mean, of course that happens, right? Of course that happens. People are biased. People are judgmental. People make assumptions, hold on to stereotypes. So like that happens, but I think it is shifting. I really do. Gen Z
I hope
especially,
so.
like they just own it. And, I need a mental health day. And like, like,
Right.
I have XYZ, I go to a therapist, like they own it in a way that previous generations haven't.
Hmm.
Companies that understand the importance of having mentally healthy employees are going to do better than the story
Right.
that you shared, right?
Right.
And I'm
Right.
seeing a lot of progress in that area. And at the end of the day, it's a competitive advantage. You could be a business owner, an executive that doesn't care about mental health and just burns and turns, employees, and that could be your business model. And you do you, but like that's not the game I'm in.
Yeah. Do they actually go to court if it comes to that? Do they go to court with the person?
Do they go to court with?
Yeah, like if it gets down to some unfair practice and either they're suing them or
Oh yeah,
they're
there's
trying to
there's
get their
court
job
cases all the
back.
time. There's court cases all the time. I mean, you have to be in a
Uh,
protected group. So like race, gender, ethnicity. I think sexual orientation's in there now. I don't think trans is
Okay.
in there. So like that's not a
But
protected
normally,
group.
does the ally go to court and testify and anything like that?
I mean, if it would be helpful,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
but if it wasn't helpful, then no. I
Okay.
think
I
sometimes
got
we
you.
get these like savior allies that like insert themselves too much.
Yeah.
I think it's just, once again, working closely with that individual you're trying to support and doing what they need.
Right.
And if they need you to testify, if you have something to testify, then by all means, but otherwise, just do what they need.
Yeah, I think we're all taking baby steps when it comes to this stuff, and we're trying to make it work, but it's going to take some time,
Yeah.
which is what we got to be patient for it.
Yeah.
Um, Now, your book, could you tell us the title and what it's about
Yeah.
exactly?
So it's called Act Like an Ally, Work with an Ally. And imagine you're walking in the airport by one of those bookstores and you see this like red, purple cover. It says Act Like an Ally. And then one shelf down, this like green and orange cover that says Work with an Ally. And so you think, oh, these must be like complimentary books, right? But you pick it up. When you flip it over, it's the other book. So you're getting two books in one, and it's to really
Oh,
viscerally
wow.
show allyship is a two-way partnership between an ally and what I call the partner, who's the recipient of allyship, because they
Hmm.
both have a
Hmm.
role to play. And so I use a lot of the research and literature that I've combed through over the last 8-9 years doing this work. I talk about personal stories, whether it's me needing to work with an ally or it's me trying to be an ally. And yeah, I just kind of like poured my everything into it, and I'm really excited for. I see this vision of my launch party next month, where everyone's in the auditorium and holding their book and they're flipping it over so you can see like the back and forth. Like
Yeah,
I'm
launch
really
party.
excited
Yeah.
for that moment.
Are you going to be signing autographs or anything like that, or
What's that?
just the party? Are you going to be signing autographs or anything
Oh
like that?
yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
that's
I
that'll be
never
fun.
assume someone wants me to sign the book, but I'm always honored when they ask.
Yeah, it's a nice thing. It's terrific. So when is that book? It's out now on Amazon.
So you can pre-order now on Amazon, depending on when you listen to this episode. You can just order on
Right.
on Amazon if it late August, early September of 2025 is when we're
Yeah, it could
planning to
be around
launch
there
it.
when this
Yeah,
airs.
so
Yeah,
very soon.
I mean that's great. I normally have the guests give the last word if they want to. Would you like to talk to our listeners?
Yeah, I think when it comes to making people feel included and seen, whether as their ally or as their peer, or as their boss, or as their friend, as their partner. It's just all about the little things we can do, like making eye contact, if they're comfortable with eye contact, of course, when someone walks in a room, turning your body to indicate like, hey, you're here, take a quick smile, getting someone's name right, getting someone's pronouns right, the very small things that can really change the experience for someone else. And I think we forget the power we have in other people's experience. And so remember that you have it and use it for good.
Yeah, I really love what you're doing. I hope more people and more companies go into, helping out people that are having problems. And I was one of them, and there was nobody there for me. So it made it really hard.
Yeah.
So this is just great stuff. And I thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm sorry, did you want to say the website that will be able to reach you at?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you wanted more information.
Just reach out at mattinglysolutions.com. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn at Victoria Mattingly. But yeah, mattinglysolutions.com is the best way to get in touch, set up time to talk, learn more about what I do. So thank you.
Terrific. I really thank you for coming on the show. You're a great guest, and I hope everything you do succeeds 100% because we need it.
Thank you.
Okay, so maybe we'll talk again, and have a good one.
Thank you.